All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for coming by. Coach Ewing, just finish your 10,000 from the team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just credit to New Haven. They played extremely well. Made a lot of shots early, kind of took some punches and just never really recovered. I thought, obviously, guys were ready, emotions were high, just weren't able to execute really on either end of the ball, either end of the court well enough.
Coach, you got off to that good start of 10-6 in the first media timeout. What were you doing just over those first few minutes that you liked, that you were able to get a couple of early baskets?
Again, we came out confident, made a couple shots, credit to these guys. Marc got off to a really good start as well. But really just weren't able to sustain it. Majak is such a factor. I felt like he just kept pushing us out further and further. And, we just settled for way too many jump shots, especially in the first half. And, I just don't think offensively from there we were able to recover. And then on the defensive end, they hit us with a couple of haymakers, mainly named Ty Perry, right? Just made a whole bunch of shots, and, we just didn't respond well enough.
When a guy is in rhythm like that, like he was tonight, I mean, a handful of those shots in the first half, hand in his face. I mean, at some point when you're standing there watching, do you just sort of have to shrug and say the defense is there and sort of just tip your cap, or do you keep sort of trying to go through all the permutations in your head and going, how can I slow him down? How do I get the ball out of his hands?
Yeah, I mean, you're always thinking, how to do better. And I think, he's a really good player, obviously, and there's so many great players in the NE10. We've had moments like that, guys on our team, where they were, Brandon Powell just a couple weeks ago made 11 threes in the game and scored 44 points, so we know what getting hot looks like. And I thought it was a combination of us, having a little bit of a breakdown defensively, and also at the same time, just a credit to him once he got going, that it was really just so hard to stop him. And again, just played a great game.
For Marc and Adonis, you guys have transferred in here over the last couple of years, but this was a pretty experienced group of players. Guys who've seen a lot of college ball. What does it mean? Second NCAA tournament. It feels like you guys are sort of starting to lay the foundation of this new era of Pace basketball.
First. Yeah, I mean, Coach always says it. A few years ago, they were losing games. They were winning 5 games a year, and I think that, for me, I remember that, where they come from, where they started out, and now where we are. I think that us laying this foundation of setting the standard is really important for the next guys, the next generation of Pace basketball.
Sorry, my voice is a little messed up, but me personally, this is my first NCAA appearance. For those of you who know me, that I played out of Delphi last year. And the reason why I wanted to come here is because I seen the winning program they had here, and I saw everything. I played against them my whole career, and things didn't work out early on in my career. I could have been here earlier, but everything happens for a reason. I just trusted Coach. He trusted me, and I'm glad he gave me the opportunity to come here. And I feel like I left it all out there, and I have no regrets. I was saying that in the locker room, and yeah.
And if you could just expand on, building the foundation, the Pace. You took over when the program was at its lowest point, and built it up to consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. I think it's the first time in your program's history. And though you lost today, again, you're competing at this higher level now and bringing in guys that are aware of Pace basketball. Your thoughts on the arc of how Pace has kind of come from the dead to up to high level?
Yeah, I mean, again, we take a lot of pride in the resurgence of the program. We had mentioned that even just as a staff in the locker room, too, just, to go from where we started to where we are now, where it's like, we won 20 games and we made the NCAA tournament. And obviously we're devastated with how we played. And again, I can't give enough credit to New Haven for what they did. But at the same time, I just want to give so much credit to our guys. That's what's going to get lost in this is Adonis and Marc and, everybody, on our squad really had the buy-in throughout the year to win 20 games, great moments, obviously low moments, but this was a really special group here, and And just like you said, I mean, it says a lot about the program to get to a point where you win 20 games, and even losing, you know, in a fashion that you're not happy with in the NCAA tournament. Like, you still have to have some level of perspective of, you know, 20 wins is special, and this group was special for us too. And it didn't end the way that we wanted to, but I'm just so indebted to the work that they put in and this whole group.
Coach, when we talked yesterday, we talked about sort of the veterans on this team, whether they've been here a year or two or more, or like Adonis guys just sort of coming in, who've had experience, but this is sort of, you know, kind of the last go around for them. You know, like you said, not necessarily the way you wanted it to end, but just sort of, you know, what's your message to these guys as they sort of, you know, come to the end of their college run?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a coach, and maybe Adonis can expand on that, you know, having just played his last college game today, I would think that, you know, you want to know that you were a part of something, right? You want to know that your legacy will be around long after you're gone. And that was kind of my message to the guys in the locker room, is just how indebted we are to them. And that, you know, when new freshmen walk in the door and our returning guys, but also, yeah, new guys that come through our program, like, they'll know the name Adonis Williams, and they'll know the blood, sweat, and tears that these guys have put in to get our program to where it is. And even our returning guys like Marc too. It's just, you know, like, really, it's not for nothing. And obviously, you know, you'll be remembered. You'll always be a setter. And as a staff and as a coach, I'm just, you know, so proud of their effort.
And Adonis, if you could expand on that too, and scoring your 1,000th point this year too.
Yes, sir.
That's another piece of that legacy.
Right.
Your thoughts about your journey and ending it at pace?
It was a lot of emotions, you know, a lot of naysayers, a lot of doubters. Ultimately, you know, I still stuck to my true self. I had a good support system. My parents, my brother, as you always see at the games.
Parents, yeah.
You know, we just stay the course. That was the message. Not too high, not too low. And it's just a lot of emotions right now. I played my last game. I've been in the league for 6 years now.
Hey, I see you.
The epitome of a veteran.
Yeah, no, but ultimately, like I said before, no regrets. You know, a lot of people question my decision, question Coach and what does he think about me. But at the end of the day, it was who was in that locker room, who was going to get it done, score my 1,000th point. That was obviously my goal I talked about, but I had to put the team first before I put myself first. And I think that's the way I played the whole year. You know, sacrifice was a big thing for me. Sacrifice everything, but I'm glad I made my decision.
And obviously we have two guys up here, but, like, you know, we had a group this year where, you know, we had a lot of really good players and a lot of guys that would have played a lot of minutes at a lot of different places, you know. So to get those guys, you know, even these two guys, like, you know, sharing minutes in the front court with other really good, talented front court players, and again, wasn't always easy, like, but there was a lot of buy-in and a lot of consistency and you know, teamwork from these guys that got us to this point. And again, like, maybe it didn't show well enough tonight, but this was a group that was together and strong and done so many things. And like I said, just so proud of this group and all it was able to accomplish with 20 wins and making the NCAA tournament.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.